Well, my battery died anyway. So, what I was saying was that these aren't worth very much, and I wouldn't probably have bought them unless they were a good price, like $1 or less. $1. But when I asked her how much she wanted for them, she said a quarter a piece. So for 50 cents, I picked them up. At this next garage sale, I had looked at a few sales that day. It was kind of rainy. I didn't really find anything, and on my way home, I just happened to stop at this one last sale. She didn't have anything, but I asked her if she had any old video games for sale. She said that she had some Nintendo 64 stuff. Right when she was saying that, she goes, I don't even know if my husband will let me sell it. And as he was walking up, he said, well, I don't play it anymore. So they had a little 1-year-old boy in a pack and play sitting there. And she said, well, let me go in and look for him. She's like, do you mind watching my kid? And she just walked inside and left me alone with her boy, which was kind of weird because the little boy started to climb out of the pack and play. And I was like, no, like, you gotta stay in there. But I didn't want to, like, touch him because he was not my kid. Thankfully, she came out fairly quickly. And she told me that she had Nintendo 64 stuff, but when she came out with a box of Super Nintendo and a few Nintendo games. But, I'd rather see the Super Nintendo games anyway. So once I started looking through this stuff, she kind of was doing the, I don't know if I want to sell it. And then she said, well, she started to say, well, I could take your number, and if it doesn't work, and I told her, you know what, if you want, I can hook it up for you right now, because it'd probably have taken her a while to figure out how to hook the thing up. So I told her I would hook it up for her and test it right there for her. It did work. She had a Super Nintendo. She didn't have the regular Nintendo. I told her if she wanted to keep the system, that was fine. There was just a few games that I was interested in, and I told her it was basically the ones I didn't have, which that was kind of a fib because I did have almost all of them. But anyway, I had to do a different type of maneuvers because she was so on the fence on selling or not. I did the cash in the face, not literally in her face, but I pulled out. I had 8 games that I had picked out. I offered her $15 for the 8 games. She kind of didn't want to do that, and then I said, well, I could do 20, and I pulled out a $20 bill, and she saw it, and then she said, well, my grandson, his PS2 was stolen, and we were thinking about maybe letting him have this one, because he's going to be upset when he finds out it's stolen. He didn't even know yet. So she said, I think he really likes Mario. I had Super Mario World in there. I said, you know what, just take that one out. Go ahead and let your grandson have that one. What about these 9? And then the only other game that I had in there that she pulled out was Ren and Stimpy Buckaroos. And I said, you know what, not a big deal. So she took that one as well. And she eventually let me have these 8 games with kind of a funny story with the last one I'm going to show. The first one was Commando. She had no problem getting rid of the regular Nintendo games because she didn't even have the system. And I did end up paying $15 for these 6 games. So we have Commando, a Super Nintendo. I believe this is the only Super Nintendo game out of this lot that I don't have, and it's Harley's Humongous Adventure. Kind of an interesting game. There's a dude flying with a thumbtack and a fireball behind him in a sink. He looks like a little person, kind of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And then I picked up Fatal Fury, Super Punch-Out, and then this game she kind of tried to take back too because it's got a big crack right there. But I looked at the board and it didn't seem to be broken. I haven't tested it yet, but that was Super Mario Kart. And I really didn't want her to take that one out of there because I can just put a new back on it if it works fine. So that one was in there. And then the last game that was kind of funny, she picked this one up and then she said, well, this one's really hard for me to get rid of. And she didn't really say why. And then she kind of looked at me and she's like, you're going to think I'm silly for this. But with Robin Williams passing here lately, I don't know if I can sell this. And that's Zelda on the Super Nintendo. And then she said something about, well, I don't even know if he had anything to do with the game. I just know his daughter's name was Zelda. So I explained to her that, Robin Williams was a gamer and he really liked the Zelda franchise, and he named his daughter Zelda after the franchise. And I explained to her that this was the third one in the series and that they've made like 20 of them. I don't know how many for sure, but I tried to take the focus off this one Zelda game to the whole franchise. So I picked up those games for $15. Okay, the last stack that I have is a pretty cool one, because I don't know if I actually showed this in a video, but at a garage sale a while ago, I picked up a ton. I think there was 24 Game Boy Advance games. They were all little kid games, mostly girl games. I would never really buy anything like that, but when I asked the lady how much they were 10 cents a piece. So I picked up all 24 up, and I asked if she would take $2 even for the 24 games, which is just crazy. I knew that I could at least get the two bucks out of it back. I've kind of been holding on to them for a little while, and when I went to Disc Replay, I took those with me, and I took a bag of AV cables. They took 2 cables, an AV and a component actually, and they gave me $1.50 for the 2 cables total. And then with the rest of those games, the 24 Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance, sorry. Like I said, there wasn't very many good ones. They were all little kid games and mostly girl games. They gave me $52 in store credit, and I just thought that was crazy. I was expecting maybe 10 or 15, and they gave me that much. I was really excited. They were running a deal. They had a ton of loose Sega Genesis games. Normally Disc Replay does a buy 5. If you buy 5, you get the 6th item free. But since they had so many Genesis games, they had a sign that said buy 3, get the 4th free. So I had planned on, if I had like 10 or 15 bucks in store credit, I was just going to load up on, 4 or 5. Not 4 or 5. 4 or possibly 8, depending on how much money I had. Sega Genesis games. But when she told me $52, it was actually when he told me $52, I decided to look around the store at some more pricier stuff. So I picked up 3 Nintendo 64 games, and I decided to go ahead and get 6 items, so I would have gotten the 6th item free. And the item that I got free was GT64. And nothing much to say about this, I just didn't have it, so. And then I also got Top Gear Rally 2 and Fighting Force 64. Again, 2 games that I just didn't have. Another game that I picked up with the credit, or partial credit, I ended up paying $18 in cash after everything was said and done. I picked up Animal Crossing, because they only had it priced at $4, and I knew I could find somebody that wanted it. The last 2 games I was really excited to get. The first one is the special edition, or the collector's edition of The Last Story. They had this priced at $25. It does have the art book and the game. I believe that the collector's edition came with a soundtrack. Unfortunately, it did not have the soundtrack. I think it came with it anyway. But for $25, I'm just going to sell off the copy of the game because I already have it, and keep the collector's edition outer book casing, whatever you want to call it, and the art book. And the game that I was most excited to get, this is probably the most expensive Dreamcast game that I have in my collection now, and I have heard good things about this one. Excuse me. And that is Elemental Gimmick Gear, or Egg. And they have this one priced at $25 as well. So basically, I paid $2 for a bunch of Game Boy Advance games, and I traded those in to get these. So these were $2, basically. And then since I had already had, or since I was already buying 2 items, 2 higher priced items, I went ahead and got all that other stuff just to get a $3 game free. That deal gets me every time. It makes me want to buy more just to get a free game. And the free game was only $3. So really the ideal thing is if you can find 5 $25 items and get a 6 item for free. That's the best deal. So again, I apologize for my my awful voice right now. I do not have emphysema. I was asked that question by Ed. But I really wanted to film this mostly because I need to get all these doubles out. I'm running low on funds to buy more games, so I got to get all this stuff out. I really need to film this video, and I had to do it while having this. So I apologize. That light is bright. Anyway, this has been Retro Rewinder. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff, and I'll see you next time.